everyone to the nonstop every day I'm hustling stream of this become the channel of RHMax. Yeah, it's if you're new here, welcome. Man, so much good stuff going on. It's been actually fun streaming. It's been exhausting. Launch has been, we've been all over the place, looking here, looking there, trying to see if we're gonna make trades. Otherwise, I think a lot of people are probably done ratio trading. I think a lot of the best deals seem to be on the first few hours or few days. When I was on stream the other day, and I was wanting to get off stream because, hey, should we be at our computers right now? It seems like a lot of cool stuff's going on. I still need to ask Sloth what kind of deal he got. I feel like him and graphics might have picked up something. But anyways, welcome. This is going to be a great one. I have a feeling. Neil4TShares is here. We had him on the other day, him and Stu from Tetra. And that was a really great stream. Got to learn a lot about it. And these guys know more than just their own project too. I'll ask Neil to give a little intro as well before we get into it, just if you're not familiar with this work. But a lot of these people come into the ecosystem. They like Hex. They like PulseChain. They want to build products around it. Very few of them I pay attention to, but Tetra's kind of got my attention from this gentleman here. He'll be my Genesis, Tetra wonderment. I don't know how to describe it, but anyway, it's good to see Red Squirrel. I'm totally glad this worked out for you because I didn't even think about the time zone. I've just been doing 11 a.m. streams. We're close to it lately. Anyways, should be a great stream. A lot of stuff to talk about. Bridge soon. That's going to come up. I made a couple tweets this morning. We're going to riff on those as well. And I asked in the community post as well if you had anything. I'll check that one more time. So if you posted it recently, I haven't put it on the list of things to talk about. Not to put everything on there, but I've been cherry picking the few that we want to talk about today because we only got about an hour or so. But let me quickly say hi to the chat. I'll bring Neil in and we'll get started. Josh Yoder says, so confused on Pulse Ramp showing on the ETH concept ETH0 balance. What swap looks like. I don't know on that, Josh. I don't know. If anyone asks you to DM them because they're tech support, please refuse that as well. Do not expect any DMs from tech support or otherwise. So I'm not sure. It could be a lot of different issues. If I had it off the top of my head, I would totally help you though. Sniff says, Hex staking site. Yeah, interesting. So there's an alternative. You can use the Hedron staking. It's app.hedron.pro. And you can do stakes there. You can do native stakes, HSIs, everything else. So I actually haven't even used go.hex.win since it started because I'm used to just, I got my one-stop shop for Hedron, Icosa, Watsas, HSIs, native stakes, and everything there. So I actually haven't even checked it, but I've heard people have been having problems. So there's an alternative. I'll drop. What is it? I'll drop it here, and maybe we'll check it out in a minute. So many different ways to do these domains as well. Anyways, can't get to all the questions today. I'm gonna skip around a little bit. Again, I want to get through the intros because we got a lot of content to cover. Red Squirrel, what's up? DJ and Dougie, welcome back and good to see you. Peso Dude, too bad it's not Taco Tuesday. It is currently Monday. However, tomorrow could be fun. Today could be fun. Tomorrow could be fun. Midweek bridge. We'll see. Godfather J6, welcome, man. Kai's is here. What's happening? 8.3 bill burned. We got burning on, sort of burning on PulseChain and PulseX now. Don't you love these surprise pump-a-middles? I've been saying this for a long time. Richard has not showed his hand for all the pump-a-middles before launch. I was saying that. And he's starting to be like, hey, how about this? How about the validators how about the Genesis validators? Maybe they just burn their fees and stuff. So cool. Anyways, bridge delay gratification. I'm with you, man. I'm with you. Ju Young, what's happening, man? Shout out to you at hsiwatch.com. Very cool stuff there. Yep, I can see a few questions. We'll get into it in a minute. Neil's like the blockchain whisperer. I believe it, man. I came across this content on YouTube and I really enjoyed it. So I was like, hey, let me get in touch with you because you seem smart. We should talk about some stuff. Graphics says bridge launches Monday, celebrates. Is that the new theory? We're doing a Monday bridge and leading up to Taco Tuesday. That's what Richard's he's timing Taco Tuesday. I like it. All right, let's do it. Anyways, without further ado, welcome to the show, Neil4TShares. How's it going?
Hey Max, how's it going, man?
It's going great. Another beautiful day in Hexaco, just kicking back, and can't stop my brain from functioning on and looking and wondering and trying to get some sleep. But besides all that, yeah, man, it's going great. Going great.
It's good. It's good. Yeah. Same here, man. We've been really busy. My launch was for me was fine because I had a plan. So when it launched, sorry, I got a real life business I'm running simultaneously. Um,
Sure.
I had a plan. So when I got the tweet, I executed my plan, got it done, I was finished. So if you didn't have a plan, you were scurrying for your keys, your coin, your wallets and all that stuff, that's a mess, and you missed out. That's just a fact. The first people in, they get the best deals.
It's almost like we had no warning. It's almost like we didn't have 2 years to
Right? You
prepare.
think?
I was scrambling, man. I'm telling you, the last few days, I was scrambling. I was like, okay, I literally, I had some ideas of what I was going to do, but I really started coming up with my plan. I started coming up with, okay, what are the things I need to do to hit the ground running? I need to do things as quickly as possible. I was able to get the validator scripts updated within 2 hours of launch. I was like, oh, if I hadn't wrote all this stuff down, what I needed to do on launch, do these things, I wouldn't have done them. It would have been delayed. I would have been scrambling. I was still overwhelmed when it happened. I was on the stream too when it happened. And I was overwhelmed when I got off steel. I remember literally for the next 30 minutes, I was like, my head was like, oh, okay, I have a plan, but still, what I need to do first, what I need to do right now, what can I do tomorrow? What do I need to do today? It was at nighttime. It was like 7 o'clock, 6 or 7 o'clock when it launched my time. And I feel sorry for the people in Eastern time because I know they were up late. But for me, it was like, what can I do to get it off my mind so the next day I don't have to think about it during the night. Let the validator sync, whatever. Do your positions, do your trading, whatever it is. So coming up with that was super helpful for me. And man, I know a lot of people are scrambling and they missed a lot of opportunities probably as well. I know I was on stream missing opportunities. I was like, guys, we need to get off stream. There's a lot of stuff going on. We need to get off stream.
Yeah, right. I'd emergency shut down and said, "All right, guys, peace out," and turn the button off and went straight to my computer.
I was thinking about, well, we had, like I mentioned at the beginning of the stream, Sloth and Graphics were, I'm pretty sure Sloth made some trade. I need to ask him about that. He did something because I was like, hey, what's going on? But he didn't share his screen. And then Graphics was, he seemed to be heads down for a few minutes too. So funny enough, I think on the stream, I was the only one, I'm not even near the computer I use for trading or anything else. So I was not able to do it, but I think some people might have benefited. It's crazy times. I'll never forget it. I'll never forget that. I'll never forget when awesome. B3 launched. I'll never forget when mainnet launched. It was just it was great. But for people who not familiar with you, your work, you want to give just a couple minutes, like what's your background? How'd you get into the ecosystem and stuff?
Sure. Yeah. So I got into crypto around 2020, I think it was. I found Richard Hart, like everybody else, through social media and stuff. After going through the typical crypto channels of centralized exchanges, got into Hex, then PulseChain, PulseX when that was announced, and ended up, like everybody else, wait 2 years. And then when Tetra came about, I met Stu through the early stages of was Reflection, now became Tetra as the protocol was developed, and he and I worked together well, and we both have a similar professional background, so we clicked that way as well as how we thought and how we conceptualized things, and so kind of took upon myself to start doing a separate YouTube channel to do the videos I do of how Tetra will function and how to set up strategies conceptually to maximize your yields on the blockchain. And so once that is available here, and which in about 2 weeks we'll have a working UI to show everybody. We'll do video and everything. Then I'll start all my new streams, and afterwards will be basically a UI tutorials of how to use Tetra and how to make how to program the protocol to work for you and how it's your desired strategy levels.
Awesome. Yeah, I've been telling people, it's one of those things. I think Tetra is it's not the straightforward. It's not a meme coin.
Well, no,
it's like one of those things that you need to wrap your head around a little bit. And then a lot of people have they stacked for a lot of projects. They've been getting airdrop after airdrop, and they're like, oh, another thing, that kind of onus, I believe too. I'm just, but man, I've looked into the project, everyone, and I'm very interested in it. I try my best not to sign up to think about and spend consciousness and do stuff with new projects, but Tetra is one I couldn't ignore anymore. It's just that interesting.
Well, so Tetra, for those who don't know, is a software as a service. So you can use it and only pay when you use it. So we don't ask for money up front. You don't have to own Tetra coins. In fact, we don't care if you buy them or not. We really just don't. They have nothing to do with how Tetra works. All they are is like owning shares of a company. You can buy the coins, you can stake them, and you can earn yield from the Tetra protocol. That's it. That's the only functionality they have. There's a finite amount. It's not inflationary or deflationary, so they're just there. Now, we'll say this. I need to get this out there. The Tetra tokens that are on the mainnet right now are worthless, have zero value, and will not be honored by the Tetra contract. When we launch, we will take our own snapshot, and then that new coin will be honored. So what you own on Ethereum now will be what you have on mainnet when we do our snapshot and do our launch. So I just want to put that out there. There's people buying, selling the copied over Tetra from the AMM bot. It's worthless. So just don't buy it. It has no value. There's nothing we can do about it though, because it's copied. So
right. So just to be clear, the ones on Ethereum still have value, still work,
yes.
all that stuff, or will. And then you're gonna be launching on PulseChain later in the summer.
No, here shortly. We're gonna
Shortly,
what we're gonna do is on testnet. We're gonna have the staking pools. All right, this is what was supposed to have happened on Ethereum, but with the gas fee shut up right before we were about to do it, it made it cost prohibitive. So we will have staking pools where you could take your Tetra token, stake them, and earn more Tetra tokens. It's just basically a reward system, as well as some airdrops that will happen for people who are a part of a Telegram group, as well as the PulseX sacrifice set that will all get a small portion of Tetra as airdrop. And those who claim, that is. The claim phase is over, so no more asking. All those things will happen. And when we take our snapshot, we're also moving on liquidity too. So we'll take all the liquidity from Ethereum and shifting it over and putting it on a PulseChain, bringing value over. And obviously we can't do that without the bridge and stuff. So we're going to do it on testnet first, test it out. Then we'll set a date in the near future after that to launch on mainnet permanently. And then all the tokens will be over there. And then on August 31st, the protocol will launch, and then everything will be functional. You can use Tetra and then stake your tokens in the protocol and earn yield.
And quick question on Tokenomics. So if it's not inflationary, where do the rewards come from?
All right, so there's the supply is fixed, and we have set aside a portion of the fixed supply for rewards. That's what it is. They're set aside in a wallet address, and they'll all be distributed accordingly and proportionally to the stakers.
Could they ever run out?
No. I mean, there's a finite amount. So the pools are set up where the APY will function based upon a proportional amount in the pool, and there's a finite amount you can earn, period. So you stake X number of tokens, you can only get that many tokens. So however many people come to the pools, it's divided up and distributed proportionally based upon the APY, and when they're out, they're out. That's it. But the pools will end on the 31st of August too. So once they're ended, it's over. There's no more extra Tetra to get. Does that make sense? Just a finite amount. They're sitting in a pot waiting to be distributed to the people who stake. That's all it is.
So, but at the end of, you said end of August?
August 31st, yeah. When we launch our protocol, the staking pools for the Tetra token to earn more tokens end.
And then what would be so you can't stake Tetra after that?
You stake it in the protocol to earn the fees from Tetra now.
Gotcha. That's okay.
Yeah, so we're just basically having get people to get more Tetra tokens by staking, and then moving over to the actual fee generation portion of the protocol.
Bootstrapping, right?
Well, no. The liquidity is liquidity in the token. It stays within the liquidity pairs. The Tetra doesn't need the token at all. That's the point.
Right. But
I guess the reward in and out. Yeah.
I guess the reward part sounds like it's going from one place to another, and why wouldn't you just start doing it straight from volume right now? Because there's not a lot of going on.
Well, I mean, we don't need the tokens functionality. The token has no functionality now. It's just there. It sits there. So when we launch the protocol, then that will have a functionality to earn the fees. You see,
right?
So we're just using it as we're just basically providing the liquidity pools for people to buy and sell the token, and that pool will stay there even after the Tetra launches, because people still want to buy the token, right? And some people want to sell the token. So it stays within itself, but when you stake it in Tetra protocol to earn the fees, then it's removed from that any earnings potential or buying and sells locked in a contract, and then you just earn fees from that.
Gotcha. Okay, and I want to tie this back into a little bit. We'll get into PulseChain here in a sec too. But I know there's a tweet I wanted you to elaborate on a little bit too, just on the volume, because hey, this is something I see that could be very interesting for volume with PulseChain, very interesting for validators. I would suggest everyone go back and do RHMax, Tetra, and watch the stream with him and Stu, because we got into a lot of different scenarios with that. But I want to bring up a tweet. Let's see. If anyone has any Tetra questions or otherwise, just put them in the chat and we will get to them. But this is something from Cryptographics, who's may still be in the chat, that I told him I was going to be talking about his thread today, that I think is pretty interesting. So PSA for everyone looking to bridge Ethereum to PulseChain: if you're bridging anything over PulseRamp, you need to understand that you need PLS to exchange the bridge tokens for tokens you want on. And then basically goes through to explain why you need PLS. And then a lot of people, there's so many questions. How do I get it? I don't have it. How do I get it? How am I going to use it? So much anxiety around that. There's the free Pulse IO. I think there's still, don't think they still have any mainnet Pulse because gas fees so high and all that stuff. Still on T-Pulse as well. But Neil, I was going to ask you, so this is kind of one of probably the most asked question out there, is like people just don't know what to do if they don't have Pulse. I guess maybe I can frame it. What are the scenarios where, like, what are people going to say? The bridge launches. How do we move stuff around? What's going to happen? How's this stuff going to work?
Well, I mean, if you don't have enough Pulse to pay the gas, you can't do anything. That's just a fact. I mean, that's the reality we're in. I was not happy when the Pulse price gas went up as high as it did, because basically, in fact, it's locking a lot of people out from moving into it because they have no way to make the transactions. What we all thought was going to be fractions of a coin has now become thousands of coins to move stuff around.
Yeah.
There may be ways will probably happen. The only way to do it was somebody has to take their Pulse and bridge it over to Ethereum so people can buy it over there and then send it back with their stuff so they have Pulse to operate on. That'd be the only way to do it.
And then the other, so a couple things that came up from this is the faucet, and then centralized exchange. I guess we're all wondering too, one of the questions I posed earlier is like, what big exchange is going to list PulseChain? Because that's, Richard's talked about, what was it, OKX or something? I was trying to remember back all the stuff in the last couple of years.
Right, yeah, it's 2 years worth of information, I know.
It's like, oh yeah, he mentioned that one Chinese exchange or something. I don't think that'll be the only one. I think, I imagine a lot of people have been preparing for this. Our community outreach is out of control. So I guess that's there'll be on-ramps through that. You think a lot of people will be using that? Just, the common person who doesn't use the DEX a lot, they're like, oh, I can buy it on my exchange now, and I'll just do that and send it to my wallet or something.
That probably makes the most sense for the average retail user who's not like really savvy. If somebody wanted to, it might be smart for somebody to send the Pulse back on the other way, send it on Ethereum as wrap, it'd be wrap Pulse, P-Pulse, whatever it's called over there, and then set up a pair with Ethereum, and people can swap back and forth. That might be pretty profitable little liquidity pool if somebody had enough Pulse they wanted to set one up. So that's a way, like immediately the only way to get Pulse over to go back. I see no other way unless you have it already natively in your wallet.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, this is the kind of like the panic thing of everyone's like, okay, the number one question about when we get the bridge, what do we do once we have the bridge? And the stable coins, the other part of that too. Everyone keeps asking, how can I sell? How can I take profits? What if PulseChain does 10x or PulseX does a 10x or whatever on first day or two? It's pure speculation, NFA. Yeah. Like, what is there going to be a stable coin there? Like, what is there going to be? You expect them to be bridged in, or some native project launching?
Now this is speculation. Now I don't know, but it's possible that Richard could bring the stables over and then provide liquidity in with one of the pairs or something. It could be what his plan is, like he did with the T-Dye and all. That may be still on his plate. But then all the other stables that are bridged in for people who have stables on Ethereum ready to go over, they have dry powder, who have Pulse, they'll just bridge them over. But then somebody's going to make the pair, right? Somebody's got to make the pair for the the EUSDC and Pulse. Somebody's got to make that pair, and that person, is he going to be brave enough to make the first pair and take a chance of losing all the Pulse in that pool? Because that's what's going to happen. It's everybody going to sell. That's a way out. So I was talking to one of my friends earlier today about this, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm ready to 10x, and I want to dump." I said, "Well, man, you got to realize there's got to be a pool created first for you to dump. The price may go up in dollar terms, but where's the pool at? You and everybody else wants to dump on a 10x. That's fine, but there's going to be a race to that pool, and then it's going to be who sets a slippage high enough to get out. And then you probably won't be able to get out on the first click, and you probably need to at least DCA out with the portions of your bag. If not, you would eat up in slippage. So all these things have to be considered before, and have a plan. Here, you got to have a plan to get out. But the plan is going to be a function of what's available, and you're going to be able to be a little nimble to move around if you're going to try to get out on 10x or whatever.
Did the PulseX? So you mentioned on TDI, did the PulseX SAC put up LP for TDI?
I don't remember now. I just know there was the pair showed up in the farm. So I don't know who put the pair. I'll be honest with Richard did, just to have a place to trade around or not.
Okay, just curious if it was that address, that would historical, that would be something to go off of, but maybe not.
Yeah, right now we're in a holding, but we just don't know. We're waiting on Richard to do something. Then what he does, then we can react accordingly. That's kind of where we're at, just in reality. And I foresee, though, at least I would hope that when the bridge does open, that these gas fees drop, because I would have a hard time believing people won't spend 20, 30, 50, 100, 200, 300, or $500 to run these batch transactions with a Zen and all that mess.
Yeah, that's a good question too. Do you think the fees are going to go down? What's going to make the fees go down? What do we need to happen? The bridge opening and price go up? What does need to happen?
It has to be. I mean, if right now we're all assuming SAC rate pricing, at least that's how most of us conceptualize. Well, it's 1,000 pulse. What's only like 50 cents or 25 cents or whatever, right? We're thinking of that in penny terms now, because that's what we SAC for, and that's what our value is. I'm of the opinion, personally, because I'm cheap, that those coins are 10,000x coins. I'm looking at that as each coin as a dollar in my mind as I conceptualize this. So before I click the button, make any trade, I'm thinking, do I really want to spend $1,000 to make 10? Not so much. But then that's also future casting and speculating on the price going up 10,000x, right? I understand that, and you're going to have to spend some of your pulse for gas. It's a gas coin. But I would highly encourage people to really think long and hard, because both Pulse and PulseX potentially can go 10,000x or even more. Do you really want to take those coins and trade them for something else that you can't get the same value out of? Maybe not.
That's the point I made yesterday too. It was like, I'm sure a bunch of the Ethereum people were like, I know gas fees probably weren't that crazy back then, but if you were to imagine the early Ethereum guys, gas fees are so high, it's like 300 ETH for one transaction. Well, whatever, I need to do this. It's only worth a little bit right now. Imagine that, and then frame the mindset around Pulse and PulseX if you believe it's going to do well. That's how I make these decisions too.
Exactly. Yeah.
We get the question on validators from Motley 2, trying to deposit Pulse to hundreds of validators. Well, that's awesome. Hundreds of validators. Congrats, whoever owns those validators. It's been an absolute nightmare of failures to start transactions. Raised max gas insanely. Oh man, yeah, this is rough, because I had a situation recently too, trying to get mine online, where I sent the transaction and then I hit market. And I was like, no, I should have did aggressive. And this is like the only time I didn't do aggressive. And that's when it was still hundreds or so. And then the launch pad was like, many went through, and then it was, and then on MetaMask it said transaction confirmed. But then if I click check the hash didn't exist. And so it's like this whole limbo of like, what do I believe? How do I even know what happened? And I'll just switch here and go to the Validator script repo in case anyone's interested. So eventually I had to be like, okay, the last thing I thought of was go to the Beacon Explorer and check the status of one of the public keys of the validator and see what's going on. That has to be the source of truth if that's working, because the scan's been down for a while, up and down and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. And finally I saw pending. I was like, oh, good, it's pending. Okay, that means it's working. It's just I'm waiting, and then everything went through and it was great. But man, it was a nightmare. It was like yesterday and stuff. I was like, I'm so frustrated. I don't know what's going on. So it'd be nice if we could batch send them all. Yeah. You really don't have any other option on using the portal other than send all, which just pops up MetaMask a bunch of times. But then if you're doing that hundreds of times, I've not tried it with hundreds of times. I'm sure it works fine with 1, 5, 10, 20, 100, but hundreds of validators. You got anything on that, Neil? How do you reduce stress doing that right now?
Right now, you can't. I mean, unless somebody is going to write a script or something that's custom for that, right? They'd have to do some kind of script that would manage this. Now, Tetra, though, it could do it, but you have to wait till August 31st. But right now, though, it's all manual, and we're all feeling the pain. And this is why Tetra is needed so badly, because this is really hard.
Yeah, so let's say it's August 31st, and somebody's like, hey, I want to bring hundreds of out. By the way, selfishly, I'm okay with hundreds of validators not being online right now, because that means more APY for me and my friends. But yeah, anyways, I feel your pain there, Motley. But yeah, August 31st comes. We can use Tetra to do this type of stuff. Briefly, like how would you even do it? Like what, just conceptually?
Well, all right. So like anything else, you pull your resources together to batch send. These makes these transactions work. And there will be ways to optimize gas usage on Tetra. We've already talked about it because when we were looking at the Ethereum network, that was something that has to happen, right? The same thing now on every chain is going to be the same way. So as long as you have these protocols that are causing the gas fees to go up and clog the networks, you're going to have a way to optimize gas utilization on any protocol. And Tetra will have a way to do that. I can't speak in specifics. I'm not devs, but there's some technical reasons that solutions that Stu's come up with to make it work out. So that won't be a problem. And because on this same topic or associated topic, the concept of spending all your pulse to make transactions, we're also going to have pooled strategy options with Tetra. So whatever you want to do, you can pull your resources together in a trustless, immutable way to deploy your strategies. And that might be very, very popular as if the gas fees keep staying in the thousands of pulse per transaction. Now you can cut it, by whatever your percentage of the pool is. So I'm thinking that may be where we end up evolving if the gas fees don't come back down to where they were when we launched.
Wow, that is interesting to see. Especially it doesn't sound like a lot of people expected the gas fees to stay this high for this long.
Right.
Wow.
Maybe like spikes, right? You expect a spike every now and then, high traffic, but I mean, even it was the first almost 20, not quite 24 hours, then it went up. Because I remember I was making trades as it went up. It went from less than a pulse to 1 pulse to 5 to 10 to 20 to 50 to 100. All of a sudden it jumped up to 500. And I said, what is going on? And I stopped trading. And then I saw the tweet from Jack. I was like, oh, here it is.
Yep, here we go. So fun. It's been. Just scrolling on chat real quick before we move on. See if any Tetra questions. Got one from Daniel here. But the Tetra token does have value now since you're copying and respecting those tokens, correct?
Yes, it has value on Ethereum. Yes, that's where the value is at because that's where the liquidity pool's at. Any pools on PulseChain now, we will not honor those Tetra token contracts. So don't trade on PulseChain with Tetra. Period. Don't do it.
Gotcha. Yeah, I saw on the Telegram you're like, guy who's at this address, stop buying it.
Right. I mean,
it's not worth anything. Yeah.
Lost all his pulse.
Mike James says high gas fees. That's what I'm saying. They're so focused on this, like high gas fees. I was promised low gas fees. Just wait. The network just launched. Okay. It's not, when we're in June and July and we're paying 2,000 beats or 2,000 PLS for stuff, maybe not beats, 2,000 PLS, then you can start complaining. But like right now, we're launching the network. Apps are launching on it. This is become a validator if you want to get that sweet APY and all those fees and stuff that are being generated right now. Like use it like the opportunity mindset. Like that's missing with so many people. Opportunity mindset. Price goes, everyone, oh, hex price went in half. Oh, it's down. Oh, how do you feel? I'm like, opportunity. Everything is opportunity if you view it that way. So
Exactly.
It's just, let's see, scroll for a second. Any questions? Let's see. Thought I saw one down here. I see a couple, but I'm trying to pick carefully. Do we know Pulse's supply? Well, I got a website for you. pulseburn.com. So it looks like circulating, which, yeah, I mean, caveat. Go watch Pulse Senpai. Go Pulse Senpai on YouTube, and he does a great breakdown of how much the OA owns, how much could be circulating, all that stuff. But it's trillions. This is a number you should be looking at. Don't worry about this number. Look at this number. Look at this number. Not so much this number right now. This number go up is good. Volume, crazy.
I know, man, it's a lot.
What do you see on this? Just makes you go like that. What is unexpected about these columns? So you see anything that's
well, the burn of the pulse is shocking me because I knew it was technically net deflationary. That was kind of the new how it was repurposed when the POS network changed. And so I thought, well, we'll burn some pulse, won't be as deflationary as what it was, even with the IP, the 1599, fork. But in this, I'm seeing it's even faster than I anticipated. Now, so this will probably make the rarity. It's going to put pulse. It's going to be a very put the buy and burn concept and compete with pulse in a more aggressive way than previously. On PulseX, excuse me. And so I see that being I'm going to put this, a way to where the price convergence may not come close for a while. So because it's now burning at a faster rate. So now the chances of them coming at parity in price because of supply further down the road in time. Does that make sense?
Well, does this change the whole, 3-1 sounds like what a lot of the ratios have been floating around and a lot of people expect it to be. Does it change that, or have you been expecting parity with it?
No, I mean, eventually you'll have parity because of supply. Supplies will come almost equal, right, over time, based upon burn rates.
Well, yeah. You want to get into like why that is, what mechanics and stuff.
What it is? PulseX burns faster than Pulse. That's just a fact, right? Even now it does. I guess in my math, I think that mathematically that it would the billion, it burns faster than Pulse. So, but there's more of it by a little bit, right? You got another 10, 9, 8 trillion, whatever it is, more. So it's going to burn faster, but now Pulse is burning at a faster rate than we anticipate. So it's going to kind of be ahead of the game a little bit, but eventually you'll catch up and then they'll cross streams. The rate of burn will cross at some point in time in the future. And we don't know how long it's going to be. It may take years, you know what I mean? So I'm looking at that, nothing in the near term as far as mathematically. But it's good though to have both of these. I mean, it's great to have the burning rate on both tokens because this price will go up. More rare.
Did not expect the burnings to be so hot. It's pretty amazing.
Oh yeah, and it'll get even better. Now, what's to me right now, the buy and burn button, I personally find it, unless there's like millions of tokens to have an opportunity to make almost, if I don't get the same amount of PulseX or almost the same amount of PulseX for the pulse I'm paying for the click, I'm not clicking that buy and burn button. Does that make sense?
Well, that's been the interesting thing too. A lot of people, I heard Power City put out a video. Hey, if we just all come together and not press it until it gets really big, that'll be like a bigger buy and stuff. But now it looks like the bots are running it. Like, is it ever going to be an actual manual thing?
I mean, probably not. I mean, because you want to buy and burn. The problem is it's going to be, it may not be a financially smart play. So if you spend 1,000 pulse to get, say, 10 PulseX, who wants to do that? That's a terrible trade. So I mean, I would set a bot up or program Tetra to do it when it's only equal to or greater than the reward is equal to or greater than the value I spent. That's how I would do it. It's basic math.
Yeah. Question here from Hash. Hey, I'm surprised Hex on Pulse has been outperforming both PLS and PLSX. Do you think this reverse minor major once the bridge opens? Has Hex been outperforming both PLS? Has it been? I haven't been paying attention actually.
Yeah, I think it is. It's as far as it's. I think it went up a pretty good bit. I don't know if that's speculators doing it or they're devaluing Pulse or PulseX. There's two sides of that. Is Hex really going up, or is Pulse and PulseX being devalued in the minds of these people? Which, how do you want to conceptualize that when you think about those pairings?
Interesting. Yeah.
Because what happens when Pulse and PulseX get bought up a lot here when the bridge opens? What does that do to the Hex price? Is that ratio still going to be safe? It's all, or now we're all looking at ratios and we're making guesses and we have our own preconceived values to all these tokens because there's no value associated with it. So I was really, really careful when I looked at all the pairs and making trades that I pretty much didn't do anything. I was like, you know what? None of this is a good deal to me.
I'm with you. Yeah. Just a reminder, everyone, these tokens are worth nothing right now. They are worth zero value. They are worth nothing. Aren't you glad that they may have value one day? Just the ratios make them seem like they have value. And yeah, so the only caveat I would say is you can put expectations. That's not a great word, but for example, PHEX, if you believe it'll be at parity with EHEX, then you can see what's equal to value PX versus Pulse, and you can kind of come up with the price from there. And if I did that the other day, and I'm like, whoa, I think was like PulseX was 3x SEC price or something when I calculated the other day. If you base Hex off of parity, but you're making assumptions. We don't know that.
Exactly.
Is there any other way to do it? Like that's only in my head. That's the only kind of thing I've tried to round out and to get dollar value out of, but it's highly inaccurate just based on, that.
Yeah, you're right. You have the SAC rate, or what you stack for personally. Maybe it was more than SAC rate. Whatever you got in the game, skin in the game, dollar value of your bag, you'd use that and interpolate that to proceed and or parity value on ETH, and then make a decision. Is it worth get rid of this one token, which could go do 10,000x for this other token, which may only do 100x? I mean, that's a decision each person has to make, and that's not one to be made lightly, in my opinion.
There are a lot of people who think Hex has another 10. There's so many very interesting theories out there on Hex doing 10,000x from here even, or at its next low, if that comes or not. And then, I mean, I guess there's different levels of thinking. There's different biases, as you mentioned too, of like what, the kind of the holy war. There's some people who just love Hex and PulseChain's okay. Some people don't know anything about Hex and all they want is PulseChain. So I don't know, a lot of speculation. I'll say that. Dev Huey, what's up, man? Hexmodel.com. Have you been to hexmodel.com? It's fantastic. Just tuned in. Did I miss all the info on how and when I can get Tetra? Front end strategy for the builder has been built. It's still conceptual. Yeah, you answer that, Neil?
Yeah, sure. All right. So Tetra on Ethereum is where you can get it now. The Tetra on PulseChain is worthless. Do not buy it. We want to honor that token contract at all. We'll take we'll take our own snapshot here in the near future, and then pull the liquidity and move everything over to PulseChain mainnet. Before we do that, though, we'll go on testnet to show people how to do it on the staking pools and stuff, so that we can test the functionality and all that good stuff. As far as the front end development, we will have in 2 weeks. We will have the first showing of how the front end will look. The back end's almost 100% done, so it's all front end UI stuff. And so we'll show people how it looks, all the bells and whistles, and then shortly thereafter, we'll do private testing, and then we'll go to a beta test for public.
I heard beta test for pumping. I'm like, oh, public. Is it public?
Yeah, public, yeah. Well, but for pumping too, because you'd be excited when you see you can automate all this stuff on testnet. You're like, hurry up, launch it.
We're gonna get in that right after this one. I want to get into the volume go up perhaps. Jay Constant though, I like these different perspectives here. Burning is not hot. Do the math. At this rate, it takes 50 years to burn 50% of the supply. Pretty sure those nice round numbers aren't 100% accurate, but I get the point. Neil, what do you think of that? Is there a case against burning being not so hot?
I mean, it's if the burn rate is slow proportion to the supply, then yeah, it'll take a long time to drop the supply down. But it's still better than having them out there floating around forever. So it's a way to reduce supply. Is it maybe there's other ways, but the PulseX not the only thing will be burning tokens. I think Internet Money's talking about burning tokens too. So anybody can write a contract, make a use case to burn a token and give you something else of value. So we're just now starting this. There's no telling what's going to be created on by people's minds to reduce supply, not just PulseX, but all the tokens potentially on PulseChain.
Yeah, I just don't think we have enough data overall. And again, what if there's some more fundamentals? What if Richard has came out with Validator burning stuff for PulseChain, PulseX? We don't have limit orders, single side staking. I think 6 months. What I'm most excited about. I've been saying this forever. I want to see the stats of this stuff. 6 months. What is that? I think it's November, December. What actually worked? What did we expect to happen that happened? What didn't we expect? And then what do these things look like? We need time. It's been 3 days. It's been 3 days, everyone.
Well, it's
We need more
also
time.
it's also unprecedented. This is all brand new. I know Ethereum launched, but Ethereum did not have this community, did not have all these projects ready to launch or anything. Did not have $2 billion worth of sacrifices ready to with money in hand. You know what I mean? This is completely new territory for everybody. So nobody can be dogmatic and say this is what will happen in the future because we're all basically reacting to the market and what comes out from Richard every day.
In the contrary point to Ethereum had a lot less money go in, all this stuff is there was a lot less money going into crypto back then too. So there's all these like counter narratives. There's not like this objective view of, I don't know if anyone has it. I guess it's Richard. Maybe he has the closest thing to an objective view you could possibly have. Although where's 10K? 10K, where's the 10K? 10K. Is he going to change it? Is he going to change that sometime? I don't know. Or maybe he forgot about it. We'll see. Macros. What do you know about macros, Neil? Tell us, is it going down or up?
Right.
All right, let's go into volume. I want to talk about that. Let me find the link real quick. So you tweeted this. I saw it, and I was like, what does it mean? Please elaborate, Neil.
Well, it's not just a Tetra token. I wrote this just in the concept. This is a philosophy, right? If you own the right assets, you don't have to sell to make money. So we have, I think, what about 20 to 25 yield bearing assets, if I'm not mistaken, that are launching with the projects that are making stuff right now. You own those assets, you can sell anything. You just hold them, you get paid. The Tetra being one of the many. I mean, it's just one of the many. So those are the types of things about DeFi that we're looking at. Oh, the big pump happens. Let me dump half my bag to make my gains. But I can stake it and do other things with my tokens to make money too. Yeah, I may not make as much as one lick, but I ain't sold my bag either. Liquid loans and earn, be able to borrow against it, all these types of concepts. There's a lot of ways to extract value without having to sell your tokens. And that was the whole point of the tweet.
What are the ways? And I'll bring up another tweet here in a second too, but on Earn and Power City, what are the ways to never sell? I mean, ecosystem, liquid loans popularized it. A lot of people are going to want to take 10x. They're going to want to go into stable or something else. But what are the better options than doing that, where you can maybe still get liquidity, but you don't have to actually do the sell, which helps the ecosystem and maybe helps you later on if you earn more yield in one way or another.
All right. Yeah. So the lending protocols, whether either liquid loans, Power City, or even fiat too, you can borrow, you can put your tokens there, and you can earn yield. And as people borrow and stuff on your deposited tokens. So that's one method. The other method is liquidity providing with things like stables and stuff with low impermanence loss risk, as well as once Tetra launches, you can have a dynamic liquidity provision on V3 type of pools. Now, you cost gas to do that, but you be able to move your positions up and down and maximize your yields that way. Then it's just simple, just buying and holding certain types of tokens that pay you and user fees, which is a true form of yield because you're not taking people voluntarily paying you, somebody else for a service, and you get a portion of that because you're providing the stability in the system. And these are all beautiful ways to earn money without having to sell your bags. So you can hold these assets and earn money and potentially have money you can live off of, and you still own the asset, and you don't have to sell ever, forever. I mean, that's the point.
Yeah, it's this whole concept. I think it's just so foreign because a lot of people they're like, "Oh, debt is bad," and it's like, well, funny because all those billionaires they have a lot of debt. Why is that? Why is that? Is it just like a mind shift change? Like,
It is.
how do you get yourself? How do you get yourself from going to I need to sell on a 10x to I need to get a little bit of liquidity and we'll see how it goes from there. Like, how do you get yourself into the next level?
You would have to. You got to be patient, right? And you'd think the Hex community are patient people, but apparently we're not. Um, and you got to think about it's not about the cash in your hand because the cash in your hand is being devalued. You sell on a 10x today. Let's say it went up 10x and you sold your money. You made $1,000 on your 10x. Put in 100, made 1,000. Okay, I have $1,000 in my pocket. Okay, well, in 3 months, that $1,000 is not going to buy $1,000 worth of groceries because of inflation. Then better you held your asset and let it ride and appreciate. So maybe in 3 months you may have $1,300 worth of value instead. Now you can buy more groceries. You see, it's all these type of things. People, you're fighting against real world inflation, so you want to keep your assets locked up in something that's going to go up in value that outpaces inflation. Well, we know gold doesn't do that. We know some real estates don't do that. We know stocks and bonds don't do that. So the real world financial apparatus is just getting eat up with inflation, and crypto is about the only place you can really get and put yourself in position to outpace that inflation rate and not be eat up. And if you're smart, then you don't have to sell. It's even better. So it's a double win.
Yeah, it's one of those ideals that hey, yeah, I'll retweet it. I'll sing along with it. We're all good. I understand it. And then when it gets down to it, what do people do?
They sell
They sell.
because it's
They sell
emotional.
every time.
Well, that's the problem. All right, so the average person is mostly attached, and therefore they react accordingly. Like just like when the SVB bank fell, and we had that big pullback in it with USDC, we were all freaking out, right? Every one of us, like, oh my gosh, is USDC going to zero? And we all reacted accordingly. Some swapped around, some took all their bags out, all these things, and that's understandable. So and black swan events are very dangerous, and it makes people react in a very emotional way. But if you can remove yourself from the equation and your ability to hurt yourself, like with Hex does and its long-term stakings and stuff, Tetra will have a way to do that as well. We can make your own contract that you put your own strategy immutable and you can't touch it. So your money is safe from your own weak hands.
Your own dirty, grimy, weak hands that should be diamondified right now.
That's right.
Should be sterilized, diamondified. Just made a new word, diamondified, hardened. That's what I wanted to ask too. The whole stream, the theme here is volume 2. I was so fascinated with our last conversation. Again, everyone, if you haven't seen it, RHMax Tetra, you'll see it. Me, him, and Stu. But how is Tetra going to bring volume to PulseChain? Not just the other products. I know there's a ton of different directions we can go, but PulseChain itself is like just the whole connection, the whole ecosystem. Is it? What can we expect to see as far as this summer coming? I know no expectations, but like, what is the vision of the whole volume deal?
All right, so Tetra, our goal is to offer services and opportunities for people that don't exist now in DeFi. Now, the automation is one part of it. So if you're in PulseChain, you can already automate these strategies. That's not bringing new volume or new money in. That's just taking what's here and just automating it and making you earn money where you sleep. But the big thing is we want to offer services that will be unique to PulseChain through Tetra that will allow the average person to take things like the incentive token, for example, and stake it. Right now, you can't do that. Now, Richard may have a way to make it have value through some mechanism on PulseX. That's fine. But if you could stake it and earn yield, great. If you can stake an NFT and earn yield, that's good. So there's a whole lot of people out there with NFTs they overpaid for they want their money back, or at least get something out of it. Well, if you bring your pitcher over here and stake it through Tetra, you can earn yield. And it's those type of mechanisms. And I can't tell you how they're going to work, but that's the goal, and as well as other types of staking opportunities and ways to maximize your gains with pooled strategies and stuff like that, and taking part in things that you can't really do on your own to make money.
And could you talk a little bit about how the how this can benefit validators, how it can benefit just the other projects getting? I mean, could you see a couple of projects launching? Whatever. Let's say Liquid Loans and Power City, they launch. Do you expect that if Tetra is used and people are automating these strategies and stuff like that, that the volume is going to go way up for a lot of the tokens, or a lot of the just people using the contracts?
Oh, exactly. Basically, every protocol that exists on PulseChain should be coming to us, say, please give us a strategy for our stuff, because we'll automatically send people and their users to them. So the other way for users to get up in the morning, click the button, and do whatever, it'll just happen all day long, every day, based upon what the strategy they choose. And not only that, we're going to have abilities for these protocols to build on top of Tetra, to have that automated functionality built in to where they're designed, and how else they want to make stuff. Because Jacob came into the chat the other day and asked some technical questions to Stu, and yeah, it's all possible. You can build on Tetra, make a new protocols, new projects. So both sides will increase volume, and we will all benefit chain wide. As a validator, you're just going to see higher throughput going through the system. So you'll have the maximum amount of volume you could possibly get go through the blockchain. So y'all get more fees because you're getting more and more people coming through. So y'all should be championing it as well, really, because it's going to push volume in a way that has never before been able to be done on a blockchain.
And I hope everything goes smoothly. It's going to be I think literally we're so early. It's people are gonna be saying, "Oh, look how early! Look at the first Tetra streams. Look at the first people using it." If it does, I mean, I guess, what is the capacity? Like, what can it do? Can it double volume on PulseChain? I mean, what are the limits?
It's only limited by the network's cap. That's it. I mean, where the network cap is, it is. I don't know what the limits are per block, but it can max it out. Period.
So fuller blocks is like what? Like, I guess what would success look like? I guess.
Well, success would be that you have a consistent high level of volume that runs all the time, and anything else on top of that is people coming and going manually throughout the system, right? So I don't know. It's hard to know because it's so early in all this, but if it, like the haunted strategy and all these type of strategies that takes large amounts of money and moves it over and over again throughout, you look at loans and Power City and stuff. I mean, those guys will be ecstatic to have millions of dollars daily being pushed through, not have to wait on people to cross world to get up in the morning. You see, and as whales come in and out, and new retail investors are coming to the system, they'll see that, man, there's a lot of money to be made in PulseChain. All these DeFi projects are having a high APYs. It's competitive. Things are running great. Arbitrage, stablecoins stay stable because they have good arbitrage opportunities. I mean, it'll be like the shining light on top of the hill in the blockchain space.
So you gave good examples of it saving time, but what about saving money? We're making more money. Is there any examples you could say, like doing an automated way would make you more efficient in the money maker process?
Well, yeah, I mean, like a simple arbitration action has to be done manually now. Even if you have a script, you still got to start it and stop it before and after, right? And then do something with your yield. Well, if it does it while you're sleeping, you're making money. See, you're saving time, but you're also making money while you're asleep. Well, you couldn't do it before. You have to sleep sometime. So for those 8 hours you're sleeping, well, you're not hitting that button. You're not making money.
People don't get it now, but they're going to get it.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it is. I mean, because even if you have a script that kind of runs on a loop or whatever, you take time to set it up, and then it'd have to be pretty sophisticated to reinvest and then take the money, go somewhere else. That'd be a pretty big, good bit of programming somebody could do. And they can do it, don't get me wrong, but then you got to pay somebody for that script, right? But Tetra just pay as you go. That's the difference. So there's people using scripts now that are services, they're selling these ideas and scripts, but then you trust in the middleman, right? You trust in somebody else to hopefully they program that script correctly. Well, that's risk. Are you willing to put yourself at risk? Did he make an error? Can somebody else exploit that script? With Tetra, you're only using the blockchain's own functionality. It's not doing anything extra for you. You're linking the manual actions to an automated way. That's all we're doing.
Yeah, democratizing DeFi. And,
Yep.
Pretty amazing. Thoughtchild, what's up, man? I like this. Yeah, you know, it wasn't. I remember the stream with you and Wells. Somebody else was on there too. I forget. Very cool. One of my first introductions to the community last year, being as streaming wise and stuff. I don't think it's my first. I think that was like my third appearance or something like that. I think I was on T Rob's channel, and then Crypto Kindness. I think might have been one of my first as well. He was my second. That might have been my third. Anyways, shout out to Nostalgia. Very cool, man. Welcome, welcome. I wanted to bring up one more thing before we call it a stream. This is from, can't get enough of that. Apparently the Launchpad is not showing stuff. They like changing it out or something. I was going to show the APY for validators, but not working. So interesting. But let's go to K4K. Pretty interesting tweet. And this was, we covered this a little bit earlier, but I just can't get over this. The burn address for the Genesis validator rewards burning on PulseChain. This is something I didn't expect. Hyper deflationary could be interesting to see how that shakes out as well. What do you think this is a sign? Do you think is there anything else do you think is kind of low hanging fruit for fundamentals that we don't know about yet?
Well, whatever Richard does with the incentive token is probably his next big secret. Maybe he hadn't really told us yet. He keeps saying he doesn't care, but is he really not caring about something he creates?
Well, care the least. I think that
right.
Was
He cared the least, right? But we only have the one farm right now. So when is he going to wait until the bridge opens up before the other farms are available? The PulseX and Pulse, incentive farms. The pairs are there, but the farms don't exist. You can't get incentive token. You can only get LP fees. So that's why I understand it now. And so then the other farm was the Pulse stablecoin farm. And so all those don't exist. And so the incentive token is probably the next, I think, the big thing he's probably going to utilize to bring eyes on PulseChain and then incentivize people to come in and maybe speculate on that. Because people are doing it now with the anticipation of some type of big event if you watch the price.
Yeah, I think that's the one he's discussed the least as well. And it is inflationary. K4K did a great video on the tokenomics on that as well, but I saw that I got a little bit more informed too. There's got to be something. I mean, you need to incentivize people. It cannot be the dump forever token. It never made sense to me. I've always thought it has to be incentivizing. It has to have value because people are going to want it so they can provide LP. And
it's got to be more than just a high LP APY too to provide. Just getting more of the same thing you dump is really it's like a circular loop that's kind of net negative. You know what I mean? If you just eventually you get more and more of it, you keep dumping, but APY is eventually going to go down because you get more of the token. So that's why I wanted to come up the way with Tetra to stake the incentive token to give people incentive to do something with it besides dump it. That was my idea to help the ecosystem as a whole, so it's not a dump forever token.
Yes. Yeah. So you think Richard will see some tweet of, hey, remember the incentive token? Now you can use it for this. You think we'll see something like that, or do you think it'll just be like the community building on it?
We will do it, but I'm sure there are other people out there who've got ideas. It's just a matter of how they want to, what kind of contract they're going to come up with to incentivize people to do something with it and give them something. That's always the hard part about developing anything is if you take something that has some value and you give them something else, it's going to have value as well or more value. If not, they won't want to interact with your contract. And so as the people come up and develop different ideas and protocols, they have to figure out what's the math there to make that work. And so we have our way, and then other people may have other ways, and maybe tying it to other pairs, incentivize people to utilize other protocols, maybe like Hedron or Icosa or liquid loans or whoever. They may come up with something for it.
Very exciting times. I think, man, everything's been streaming every day, and I'm still not bored of talking about this stuff. There's so much we don't know, and there's so much to learn, and there's so much to do, and the bridge hasn't even opened yet. Insane.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I was expecting to open it before our stream too. I was like looking at the date and time, like, man, it could open while we're middle talk.
Well, that's a great question. Well, maybe we'll before I shield the validator stuff. When do you think the bridge is coming? You think it's coming today?
I mean, it's post 48 hours. So, or is it? Yeah. My days have run together. I ain't gonna lie to you. It's been 48 hours, right? Since
yeah. So launch Friday.
So
yeah,
Fridays.
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah. It's been
like 60 hours.
Basically, it's just any minute now. I think it just at any minute it could launch. It's just a matter of. I'm sure they're doing the dev thing in the background, making sure all things going to work. Because I mean, that's just smart. You make sure there's no problems. So when people do bridge, they're not wrecking themselves, and that the money's not lost. That's always the biggest risk, right? Is make sure nobody can hack it, and the money's not lost in the process, and all your transactions go through what they're supposed to.
Yeah, Richard's been very critical of bridges, as he has been many other things, and he's going to make sure his bridge doesn't fail. That's for sure.
And I'd rather wait another 24, 48 hours to make sure it don't fail than have a failed bridge, because that'd be the worst thing to happen to us.
Yes, I could care less if the bridge opens today. I don't think anyone should care that much about the bridge opening. I know we're all excited and all that stuff, but it's like, who cares? We've been waiting 2 years. PulseChain just launched. It's 3 days old. If the bridge takes if we're Wednesday, the bridge opens. Yeah. Whatever. Saturday, whatever. Next Friday, cool. I don't care. It's happening, people. It's happening. That's what's important. Just want to say too, again, if you want to be a validator, you got to know some computer stuff. Got to know some Linux and command line and networking a little bit too. But we made it as easy as possible. Me and a few other people around the ecosystem. I posted the thread in the chat with this. So yeah, not that it's useful for you to see that and type it in. But yeah, go to my Twitter and check it out if you're interested. I've linked to a lot of the scripts, different stuff from David Feeder, TDS Lane, aka Dip Slayer, Gamma, of course, as well, and videos, hardware, all that good stuff. So if you're interested, APY pretty high right now, fees pretty high right now. It's almost as if, Neil, you get in something early and you get rewarded. Jeez.
Exactly. I wonder where we learned that from.
Crazy. Getting in early to a good project that has product market fit, and just going to town in life, in crypto, and delaying gratification. And we can all win. I'm not saying we all will win, but that's the thing about this ecosystem. You have the opportunity. You have a fair shot at winning. That's all you can ask for. There's no guarantees.
Is what did Richard say? Early adopters, and founders, and long-term holders win out in the end, right?
Yeah.
Those three groups. So if you're early adopter, you're winning. If you hold a long time, you'll win. If you're in this case, you're a validator because you got in early, you're winning now. You get a lot of pulse.
Yeah.
A lot of pulse. I mean, exactly. I'm tempted to do it myself. I just I could technically do it. I just I want my pulse for other things though. You know what I mean? Just I got other plays of mine.
That's the decision too. It's I've had to look at, when I came to my plan, I'm like, okay, how much do I want to do for validator? How much do I want to do for LP? How much do I want to do for, community projects and trading and all this stuff too? How much cold wallet? How much blah, blah, blah. You got to come up with your plan, and don't say you haven't had time to do it.
Right.
You have had time. You've had time. How you use that time is up to you, but you've had time, everyone. Again, yeah, I can't get to all your questions, but appreciate it, everyone. We got a what's a question here. I'll get to this what's it. I like what's this. Where are we at? I missed it. Can you bridge your what's it to PulseChain? Can you, Neil? Interesting.
It's just an NFT.
Yeah, it's just NFT.
Just send it over.
So
it'd be wrapped. It'd be a wrapped NFT. Send over the bridge, and it'd be whatever associated number it is. And
I guess the question is, can you send things other than ERC20s over the bridge?
Oh, that.
Yeah, because yeah, of course you can
yeah,
send
because
anything
that's
from one page to another.
yeah, but I guess you'd have to have. I don't know if the ramp. I have no idea. I'm a tech dev person. Maybe somebody else can answer that. I'm not quite sure about that one. But the NFTs.
I'm going to say I imagine Pulse Ramp won't have the ability to do that, but other platforms or maybe later on it will to do NFTs. But I know Pulse Ramp will have the ability to do ERC20s. I think we're all
that's
we know that, right?
pretty much it. But I mean, what's the point of bringing Watts over though? Is a question.
Yeah, you already have a copy, so yeah.
Yeah, what are you going to do with it over here? You can't do it with Ethereum. I mean, you got it. It's a last man standing game, so just sit on it. What's the point? Now, eventually, though, you might be able to stake in Tetra.
Staking Wattses. Making my mouth water, Neil. Making my mouth water.
Yep. So that may be a reason to bring it over. But that's later on. You got to August. Don't worry about it.
Ooh. All right. I like that. I like the Easter egg. Again, everyone, you want to learn more about Tetra, search RHMax Tetra, and a great interview I had with Himless Do a few weeks ago or so. Thank you so much for coming on, Neil. Pleasure talking to you about all this stuff. Exciting times, man.
If you would have hit, I have a YouTube channel. If you want to come check out my stuff, I talk about Tetra and strategies. Neil4TShares just search on YouTube. I think it's at work for crypto. I think it's my handle.
Work for crypto. I like it. Yeah, work for crypto and Neil4TShares on YouTube and on the Twitter.
It's work for crypto on Twitter also.
Work for crypto, right?
Yeah. So you contact me and you can contact us in Telegram too if you have any questions about strategies and stuff. Just come to the Telegram chat for Tetra. So I don't know if you got that link handy, but that's
what's the Telegram channel called?
It's
the name.
That's hold on, I'll give it to you 1 second. It is t.me /capital G go Tetra, all caps. I'll see if I can put it in the chat.
Go Tetra in all caps.
Yeah, let's see here. And I'll post in our private here in 1 second. There you
go. I've got it here. Is this right?
No, it's little o.
Oh, little o.
Yeah, sorry.
Oops. Yeah, private chat. Oh, gotcha. All right, everyone. Let me post in the chat. Go here if you want to learn more about Tetra. And it is the place to go for the information. I will say there's a lot of Telegram channels that are like, you don't have to participate. This one, I'm like, what happened when the LP got pulled the other day on the other token? And he's like, oh yeah, we did the transition. So you need to be there to pay attention to stuff.
Yeah, this is the main place, and we'll tweet out stuff too. But you go here, and then you go from here. That Telegram group, we have a strategy group you can go to and check out stuff. We have a whole bunch of videos, all the strategies, me and Red Sloth. So it's all there. So yeah, just come visit us. Any questions, please feel free to ask.
Awesome. This is my Hex 3rd birthday shirt. Looking forward to the 4th one, but this is I made these for a local Hexagon meetup group, and future is bright now. Future is not
bright. Very bright.
All right, everyone, Scivive and 5555. We are out.